The Great Bible, the second book of Samuel, otherwise called the second book of the Kings. The first chapter, the lamentation of David for Saul and Jonatas. The first chapter. After the death of Saul, when David was returned from the slaughter of the Amalekites, and had been 2 days in Ziklag, behold, there came a man the third day out of the host from Saul, with his clothes rent, and earth upon his head. And when he came to David, he fell to the earth, and did obeisance. David said unto him, Whence comest thou? He said unto him, Out of the host of Israel am I escaped. And David said unto him, And what is chanced? Tell me. He said, The people is fled from the battle, and many of the people are overthrown and dead, and Saul and Jonatas his son are dead also. And David said unto the young man that told him these things, How knowest thou that Saul and Jonatas his son be dead? The young man that told him answered, I came by chance to Mount Gilboa, and behold, Saul leaned upon his spear, for the chariots and companies of horsemen followed hard after him. And when he looked back, he saw me, and called me. And I answered, Here am I. And he said unto me, What art thou? I answered him, I am an Amalekite. He said unto me again, Stand upon me, and slay me, for anguish is come upon me, though my life be yet all in me. And so I stood upon him, and slew him, for I was sure that he could not live, after that he had fallen. And I took the crown that was upon his head, and the bracelet that was on his arm, and have brought them hither unto my Lord. Then David took hold on his clothes, and rent them, and so did all the men that were with him. And they mourned, and wept, and fasted until even, for Saul and Jonatas his son, and for the people of the Lord, and for the house of Israel, because they were overthrown with the sword. And David said unto the young man that brought him these tidings, Whence art thou? And he answered, I am the son of an alien, an Amalekite. And David said unto him, How is it that thou wast not afraid to lay thine hand on the Lord's anointed, to destroy him? And David called one of his young men, and said, Go to, and run upon him. And he smote him, that he died. Then said David unto him, Thy blood be upon thine own head. For thine own mouth hath testified against thee, saying, I have slain the Lord's anointed. And David mourned with this lamentation over Saul and over Jonatas his son, and bade teach the children of Israel the use of the bow. And behold, it is written in the book of the righteous. And he said, Consider, O Israel, these that be dead and wounded upon thy high hills. O noble Israel, the wounded are slain upon thy hills. Oh, how are the mighty overthrown! Tell it not in Gath, nor publish it in the streets of Askelon, lest the daughters of the Philistines rejoice, and lest the daughters of the uncircumcised triumph. Ye mountains of Gilboa, upon you be neither dew nor rain, not upon these fields of offerings, for there the shield of the mighty is cast down, the shield of Saul, as though he had not been anointed with oil. The bow of Jonatas and the sword of Saul turned never back again empty, from the blood of the slain, and from the fat of the mighty warriors. Saul and Jonatas were lovely and pleasant in their lives, and in their deaths they were not divided. They were swifter than eagles, and stronger than lions. Ye daughters of Israel, weep over Saul, which clothed you in purple with pleasures, and hanged ornaments of gold upon your apparel? How were the mighty slain in battle? Jonatas is dead on the high hills. Woe is me for thee, my brother Jonatas! Very kind hast thou been unto me. Thy love to me was wonderful, passing the love of woman. As a mother loveth her only child, even so did I love thee. O how are the mighty overthrown, and the weapons of war destroyed! The second chapter. David is anointed in Hebron. The battle of the servants of David and Isboset. The second chapter. After this it fortuned that David asked counsel at the Lord, saying, Shall I go up into any of the cities of Judah? And the Lord said unto him, Go. And David said again, Whither shall I go? He answered, Unto Hebron. And so David went thither with his 2 wives, Ahinoam the Jezreelite, and Abigail, Nabal's wife, the Carmelite. And the men that were with him did David carry up also, every man with his household. And they dwelt in the towns of Hebron. And the men of Judah came, and there they anointed David king over the house of Judah. And they told David, saying, It is the men of Jabes in Gilead that buried Saul. And David sent messengers unto the men of Jabes in Gilead, and said unto them, Blessed are ye unto the Lord, that ye have showed such kindness unto your lord Saul, and have buried him. And now the Lord show mercy and truth unto you. And I will do you also such kindness as ye have done in this thing. Therefore now let your hands be strong, and play ye the men. For your master Saul is dead, and they that are of the house of Judah have anointed me king over them. But Abner the son of Ner, that was captain of Saul's host, took Isboset the son of Saul, and brought him to Mahanaim, and made him king over Gilead, and over the Asherites, and over Jezreel, Ephraim, Benjamin, and over all Israel. And Isboset, Saul's son, was 40 years old, when he began to reign over Israel, and reigned 2 years. But the house of Judah followed David. And the time which David reigned in Hebron over the house of Judah was 7 years and 6 months. And Abner the son of Ner, and the servants of Isboset the son of Saul, went out of Mahanaim to Gibeon. And Joab the son of Zarviah, and the servants of David went out, and met them by the pool of Gibeon. And they sat down, the one on the one side of the pool, and the other on the other side. And Abner said to Joab, Let the young men arise, and play before us. And Joab said, Let them arise. Then there arose and went over 12 of Benjamin by number, which pertained to Isboset the son of Saul, and 12 of the servants of David. And every one caught his fellow that came against him by the head, and thrust his sword in his side, and so they fell down together. Wherefore the place was called the Field of the Mighty, and it is in Gibeon. And there began an exceeding cruel battle that same day, for Abner and the men of Israel fell before the servants of David. And there were 3 sons of Zeruiah there, Joab, Abisai, and Asahel. And Asahel was as light of foot as a wild roe. And Asahel followed after Abner, and turned neither to the right hand nor to the left from Abner. Then Abner looked behind him, and said, Art thou Asahel? He answered, Yea, that I am. Abner said, "Turn thee either to the right hand or to the left, and catch one of the young men, and take thee his weapons." But Asahel would not depart from him. And Abner said again to Asahel, "Depart from me. Wherefore should I smite thee to the ground, and not be able to hold up my face to Joab thy brother?" Howbeit, when he would in no wise depart, Abner with the hinder end of the spear smote him under the short ribs, that the spear came out behind him, that he fell down in the same place, and died there. And as many as came to the place where Asahel fell down and died, stood still. Joab also and Abishai followed Abner. And the sun went down, when they were come to the hill Ammah that lieth before Giah, by the way that goeth through the wilderness of Gibeon. And the children of Benjamin gathered themselves together on a heap to Abner, and stood on the top of an hill. Then Abner called to Joab, and said, "Shall the sword devour still forever? Knowest thou not that it will be bitterness in the latter end? How long shall it be, ere thou bid the people return from following their brethren?" And Joab said, "As truly as God liveth, if thou hadst not spoken in the morning, the people had been departed, every one from persecuting his brother." And so Joab blew a trumpet, and all the people stood still, and pursued after Israel no more, neither fought they any more. And Abner and his men walked all that night through the plain, and went over Jordan, and passed through all Beth-horon, till they came to Mahanaim. And Joab returned from persecuting Abner. And when he had gathered all the people together, there lacked of David's servants 19 men, and Asahel. But the servants of David had slain of Benjamin, and of Abner's men 360 men. And they took up Asahel, and buried him in the sepulchre of his father in Bethlehem. And Joab and his men went all night, until the dawning of the day, and came to Hebron. The third chapter. Abner cometh to David, and bringeth him his wife Michal. Joab killeth Abner. The third chapter. There was long war between the house of Saul and the house of David. But David waxed stronger and stronger, and the house of Saul waxed weaker and weaker. And unto David were 6 children born in Hebron. His eldest son also was Ammon, of Ahinoam the Jezreelite, the second Caleb, of Abigail the wife of Nabal the Carmelite, the third Absalom, the son of Maacah, the daughter of Talmar, the king of Geshur, the fourth Adoniah, the son of Haggith, the fifth Shephatiah, the son of Abital, the sixth Jetreon, by Eglah, David's wife. These were born to David in Hebron. And it fortuned that while there was war between the house of Saul and the house of David, Abner held up the house of Saul. And Saul had a concubine named Rizpah, the daughter of Aiah. And Ishbosheth said to Abner, "Wherefore hast thou gone into my father's concubine?" Then was Abner very wroth for the words of Ishbosheth, and said, "Am I not a dog's head, which against Judah do show mercy this day unto the house of Saul thy father, and to his brethren and friends, and have not delivered thee into the hand of David? And thou findest a fault in me this day for this woman? So and so do God to Abner. For as the Lord hath sworn to David, so will I be on his side, to bring the kingdom from the house of Saul." that the throne of David may be established over Israel and over Judah, even from Dan to Beersheba. And he could give Abner never a word to answer, because he feared him. And Abner sent messengers to David secretly, saying, "Whose is the land? Make a bond with me, and behold, my hand is with thee, to bring all Israel unto thee." He said, "It is good that I make a bond with thee. But one thing I require of thee, that thou see not my face, except thou first bring Michal, Saul's daughter, when thou comest to see me." And David sent messengers to Ishbosheth, Saul's son, saying, "Deliver me my wife Michal, which I married with 100 foreskins of the Philistines." And Ishbosheth sent, and took her from her husband, Paltiel, the son of Lais. And her husband went with her, and came weeping behind her, till they came to Bahurim. Then said Abner unto him, "Go and return." And he returned. And Abner had communication with the elders of Israel, saying, "Ye sought for David in times past, that he might be your king. Now then, do it, for the Lord hath said of David, By the hand of my servant David I will save my people Israel out of the hands of the Philistines, and out of the hand of all their enemies." And Abner spake in the ears of Benjamin, and went to tell in the ears of David in Hebron all that Israel was content with, and the whole house of Benjamin. And so Abner came to David to Hebron, having 20 men with him. And David made him and the men that were with him a feast. And Abner said unto David, "I will up and go gather all Israel unto my lord the king, that they may make an appointment with thee, and that thou mayest command all, as thine heart desireth." And when David had let Abner depart, he went in peace. And behold, the servants of David and Joab came from chasing the robbers, and brought a great prey with them. But Abner was not with David in Hebron, for he had sent him away to depart in peace. When Joab and all the host that was with him were come, men told Joab, saying, "Abner the son of Ner came to the king, and he hath sent him away, that he is gone in peace." Then Joab came to the king, and said, "What hast thou done? Behold, Abner came unto thee, and why hast thou sent him away, that he should scape quit? Thou knowest Abner the son of Ner, for he came to deceive thee, and to know thy outgoing and ingoing, and to know all that thou doest." And when Joab was come out from David, he sent messengers after Abner, which brought him again from the well of Sirah, unknowing to David. And when Abner was come again to Hebron, Joab took him aside in the gate to speak with him secretly, and smote him under the short ribs, that he died, for the blood of Asahel his brother. And when afterward it came to David's ear, he said, "I and my kingdom are guiltless before the Lord forever concerning the blood of Abner the son of Ner. Let the blood remain on the head of Joab, and on all his father's house, that the house of Joab be never without one or other that hath running issues, or leaper, or that leaneth on a staff, and that doth fall on the sword, and lacketh bread." And the cause why Joab and Abishai slew Abner was, that Abner had slain their brother Asahel at Gibeon in battle. And David said to Joab, and to all the people that were with him, "Rent your clothes, and put on sackcloth, and mourn before Abner." And King David himself followed the course. And when they buried Abner in Hebron, the king lifted up his voice and wept beside the sepulchre of Abner, and so did all the people. And the king lamented over Abner and said, Died Abner as a fool dieth? Thy hands were not bound, nor thy feet brought into chains, but as a man falleth before wicked children, so fellest thou. And all they that were of the people wept yet more over him. And when all the people came to eat meat with David, while it was yet day, David sware, saying, So and so do God to me, if I taste bread or aught else, till the sun be down. And the people wist it, and it pleased them. And whatsoever the king did, it pleased all the people. For all the people and all Israel understood that day how that it was not the king's deed that Abner the son of Ner was slain. And the king said unto his servants, Know ye not how that there is a Lord and a great man fallen this day in Israel? And I am this day tender and anointed king. And these men, the sons of Zeruiah, be too hard for me. The Lord reward the doer of evil according to his wickedness. The 4th chapter. Baanah and Rechab slay Isboset the son of Saul. The 4th chapter. When Saul's son heard that Abner was dead in Hebron, his hands were feeble, and all the Israelites were afraid. And Saul's son had 2 men that were captains over the soldiers, the one called Baanah, and the other Rechab, the sons of Rimmon, a Beerothite, of the children of Benjamin. For Beeroth was reckoned to Benjamin. And these Beerothites fled to Gittaim, and sojourned there until the same time. And Jonatas, Saul's son, had a son that was lame on his feet, and he was 5 years old, when the tidings came of Saul and Jonatas out of Jezreel. And his nurse took him up, and fled away. And as she made haste to flee, the child fell, and began to halt, and his name was Mephibosheth. And the sons of Rimmon, the Beerothite, Rechab and Baanah went, and came in the heat of the day to the house of Isboset, which slept on a bed at noon. And the woman that was the keeper of the door, and cleansed the wheat, was asleep. And they came into the midst of the house, as though they would have fetched wheat. And Rechab and Baanah his brother smote him under the short ribs, and fled. For when they came into the house, he slept on his bed in his resting chamber, and they smote him, and slew him, and beheaded him, and took his head, and gat them away through the plain all the night. And they brought the head of Isboset unto David to Hebron, and said to the king, Behold, there is the head of Isboset, Saul's son, thine enemy, which sought after thy life. And the Lord hath avenged my lord the king this day of Saul and of his seed. And David answered Rechab and Baanah his brother, the sons of Rimmon, the Beerothite, and said unto them, As surely as the Lord liveth, which hath delivered my soul out of all adversities, when one told me and said that Saul was dead, thinking to have brought good tidings, I caught him and slew him in Ziklag, which thought that I would have given him a reward for his tidings bringing. How much more when wicked men have slain a righteous person in his own house and upon his bed? Shall I not require his blood of your hand, and take you from the earth? And David commanded his young men, and they slew them, and cut off their hands and feet, and hanged them up over the pool in Hebron. Or pool or pole, not sure. But they took the head of Ishbosheth and buried it in the sepulchre of Abner in Hebron. The 5th chapter. David is yet again anointed king, and taketh the ark from Sion. The 5th chapter. Then came all the tribes of Israel to David unto Hebron, and said, Behold, we are of thy bone and of thy flesh. And in time past, when Saul was our king, thou leddest Israel in and out. And the Lord hath said to thee, Thou shalt feed my people Israel, and thou shalt be a captain over Israel. And so all the elders of Israel came to the king to Hebron. And King David made a covenant with them in Hebron before the Lord. And they anointed David king over Israel. David was 30 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 40 years. In Hebron he reigned over Judah 7 years and 6 months. And in Jerusalem he reigned 33 years over all Israel and Judah. The king also and his men went to Jerusalem unto the Jebusites, the inhabitants of the land, which spake unto David, saying, Except thou take away the blind and the lame, thou shalt not come in hither. For they said, Thou art not able to come in hither. Nevertheless, David took the stronghold of Sion, the same is the city of David. And David said the same day, Whosoever smiteth the Jebusites, and getteth up to the gutters of the houses, and smiteth the lame and the blind that hate David's soul. Wherefore they said, The blind and the lame shall not come into the house. And so David dwelt in the tower, and called it the city of David, and built round about it from Millo inward. And David prospered and grew, and the Lord God of hosts was with him. And Hiram king of Tyre sent messengers to David, and cedar trees, and carpenters and masons for walls, and they built David an house. And David perceived that the Lord had stablished him king over Israel, and that he had exalted his kingdom for his people Israel's sake. And David took him more concubines and wives out of Jerusalem, after he was come from Hebron, and more sons and daughters were yet born to David. And these be the names of the sons that were born unto him in Jerusalem: Samua, Sobab, Nathan, and Solomon, Jebar also, and Elisua, Nepheg, and Japhia, Elisama, Eliada, and Eliaphilet. But when the Philistines heard that they had anointed David king over Israel, they came all up to seek David. And as soon as David heard of it, he gat him to an hold. And when the Philistines came, they laid them along in the valley of Rephaim. And David asked counsel of the Lord, saying, Shall I go up to the Philistines? Wilt thou deliver them into my hands? And the Lord answered unto David, Go up, for I will doubtless deliver the Philistines into thy hands. And David came to the plain of Perazim, and smote them there, and said, The Lord hath divided mine enemies asunder before me, as waters be divided asunder. And therefore the name of the place was called the plain of Perazim. And there they left their images, and David and his men took them up. And the Philistines came yet again, and laid themselves in the valley of Rephaim. And when David asked at the Lord, Shall I go up against the Philistines, and wilt thou deliver them into my hands? He answered, Thou shalt not go up, but compass them on the backside, and come upon them over against the pear trees. And when thou hearest the noise of a thing going in the top of the pear trees, then remove. For then shall the Lord go out before thee, to smite the host of the Philistines. And David did as the Lord had commanded him, and smote the Philistines from Geba, until thou come to Gezer.